The developers behind PalWorld have infuriated so many people. The Pokemon stans, activist journos, PETA, you name it, they're probably angry at this title. But now the Pokemon Company has announced that they are allegedly launching an investigation into PalWorld designs after receiving many inquiries alleging IP infringement. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So I wanted to start off with this Bounding into Comics article, but it says after receiving a flood of inquiries, ostensibly sent by the Nintendo-owned franchise's fans out of nothing more than a self-assumed duty to blindly defend the stagnating game series' refusal to innovate, alleging IP infringement by the newly released title, the Pokemon Company has announced that they will be undertaking an investigation into Pocket Pair Inc.'s PalWorld monster designs. Now, I've had to talk a lot about PalWorld on the channel. I've been playing it, I've been thoroughly enjoying it, and a big reason why so many people, millions of people are playing this is because, yes, over the years, unfortunately, the Pokemon Company has just not been making the games that people want. It's sad to say, but we used to get so excited over Pokemon releases, and there still are plenty of people who are, complete fans of this franchise who will buy any product they put out, and that's great. I'm glad that you love the franchise so much still, but for people like me, they've definitely disappointed over the years, and PalWorld is not trying to be a direct competitor. It is honestly doing things bigger and better than Pokemon has ever done. Like, look at the survival crafting system. There's never been a Pokemon game with something as in-depth as that, and it's just been a whole lot of fun. I mean, there is a reason why it sold 8 million copies in only 7 days. There is a reason why millions of people are playing it, but of course, this game was announced years ago. It was first publicly announced in June 2021, but that, was already after they had been working on it for such a long time, and it says, of course, but while most such monster-catching titles force players to rely solely on their monsters to engage with their respective combat elements, PalWorld instead invites players to get in on the action themselves and fight alongside their companions. Of course, you can use things from fists to swords to full-on firearms. It is very different than Pokemon has been, but of course there are people out there who are furious simply over its, creature capture mechanic, and this has led to Nintendo allegedly taking time and actually looking into this game now. The Pokemon Company themselves, as of January 25th, announced that in light of the numbers of, people pinging them on social media, sending them emails and messages regarding another company's game, it would be launching an investigation into the entire situation. They said, we have received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in January 2024, aka PalWorld, wrote the Pokemon Company. They have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon IP or assets in that game, and we intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on IP rights related to Pokemon. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon and its world, and work to bring the world together through Pokemon in the future. Now, of course, if you do not know, they are a very litigation-heavy company. Here is just a snapshot of Nintendo's convoluted legal history. Of course, we have number one, attempting to eliminate video game rentals back in the day when Blockbuster was still around, when Blockbuster was dominating and video game rentals were very big. They did try to eliminate things like that. They've slapped fan creations with cease and desist orders, like Fan Games issuing DMCA strikes against streamers and content creators. Of course, there's been a lot of drama surrounding the Nintendo Creators Program over the years and their extremely restrictive guidelines, which they have gotten a little bit more lenient on, but still, even things down to like music from Nintendo properties, they'll strike videos, Joy-Con drift lawsuits, and more recently, the taking down ROM sites. Their perspective on emulation is decidedly black and white emulation is mere piracy. But because they are a litigation heavy company, I really feel like this response that they put out was extremely generic for an extremely specific reason. I think it was a generic response from Nintendo's legal team to shut people up, and that ultimately they most likely have no plans whatsoever to go after PalWorld. They just wanted to acknowledge it so maybe these deranged mega fans will calm down a bit and say, let's wait and see what the Pokemon company does, which ultimately I think will be nothing. There are plenty of other creature capture games out there like Digimon, Temtem, now we have PalWorld, and even Pokemon is similar to Dragon Quest, which yes, came before. Nintendo isn't, the police of the genre, and clearly Nintendo hasn't gone after similar games with creature capture mechanics. And you would think they would go after these other games if they felt like they were definitely going to win, because Japan doesn't have fair use laws. This game, PalWorld, was announced 3 years ago publicly. They've shown teasers and trailers that, yes, people have compared to Pokemon for years at this point, and the game has sold 8 million copies in a week. They know the law better than the average Twitter user, so if they haven't sued already, they probably won't. I mean, we just have to look at the facts here, and of course I know that there are Pokemon mega fans out there who are so worried that, oh my god, Pokemon is being copied, and that's understandable that you're a little bit upset that your favorite game, someone is trying to replicate it unfairly. But if the company themselves have not announced anything besides, oh, we're investigating, then why are you bothered by it? Just let people enjoy this game that clearly millions of people are loving at this point in time. And it really doesn't seem like the Pokemon company is all that worried, just given by their lackluster, very generic response. And to add fuel to the fire and upset Pokemon stands and maybe even Nintendo a little bit more, the PalWorld developers are seemingly working on a PalWorld card game. This seems to be their response to Nintendo's statement, since it was posted a few hours after. Maybe they've always planned for this. Maybe this is brand new. Maybe they simply just printed these out to try to, stir up a little bit more drama surrounding the game, because I mean, a big reason why this game has blown up is because of the drama. I mean, it's undeniable, right, that there are people who purchase this game and are supporting it simply because there are so many individuals out there who are saying it's an awful, terrible game that needs to be taken offline because it copies their favorite IP. It will be interesting to see if this card game actually comes out when this game goes into full release and it is out of early access, and it will be interesting to see if the Pokemon company actually says anything else. But they've just given this generic response that they've launched an investigation. But I think if they were really all that worried about something like PalWorld, not only would they have gone after other games that are similar to it that have released over the years, but they probably would have already tried to do something about PalWorld itself. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.